I've learned a lot about leather this year. I interviewed the founder of a sneaker company about leather tanning standards, and I went to Mexico to make my own leather. I visited another tannery, Alphamex, in Mexico to see how they make suede, and then I went to Guatemala to look at traditional boot making and make my own boots from scratch. And I talked to a lot of people about leather. And chrome tanning gets an unfair rap, I've decided. And I'm including myself in the bad rap givers because there are a lot of myths out there that I've been guilty of propagating. So I wanted to set the record straight here. Chrome tanning can be better than vegetable tanning. Now, for those that don't know, vegetable tanning is the way leather was originally made. All leather from before the 19th century was vegetable tanned. It's a relatively slow process that uses tannins found in natural materials like bark and leaves and mimosa to deputrefy the leather, like to turn it into a material that won't rot. It takes weeks and sometimes months, over a year even for some of the really fancy stuff like cordovan from Shinki Hikaku Tannery in Japan. Chrome tanning was invented in the 19th century and it uses chromium-3 sulfides instead of these organic tannins. It's way faster, and over 90% of all leather on Earth is chrome tan now. Here are my reasons why it's better than most people think. It's not always bad for the environment. Chrome tanning has a terrible reputation for producing chromium-6. Chromium-3 is what is used to tan the leather, and it's actually necessary for human nutrition. You can take it as a supplement. Under certain conditions, like high humidity or pH levels, chromium-3 can oxidize and produce chromium-6, which is associated with a huge range of health problems ranging from skin rashes, ulcers, respiratory problems, weakened immune systems, birth defects, kidney and liver damage, alteration of genetic material, the cancer, lung cancer, even death. And the Indian city of Kanpur is experiencing a ton of these maladies because of its 250 plus tanneries. But what you don't often hear is that chromium-6 doesn't always happen from chrome tanning. It only happens in poorly regulated tanneries, and there are ways to ensure zero chromium-6 is produced. Lafargue Tannery, the one I visited in Mexico, is one that tightly monitors their process to ensure no chromium-6 is released. And the same goes for American tanneries. In the early 20th century, a lot of people could only produce chrome-3 from chrome-6, so you had to start with chrome-6, which was another cause of problems. But nowadays, you're less likely to get chrome tan leather that messes up the environment, especially if you're buying American. So that's the first reason chrome tanning isn't that bad. And once you take that negative environmental impact out of the equation, you start to see ways that chrome tanning can actually be better than veg tanning. For one, chrome tanning tends to take less water and less energy because it's so fast. It usually takes a day or two versus the weeks and months for veg tanning. So there's your argument that it's actually more eco-friendly, like less water and less energy to make it, and less labor as well. Chrome tan leather is also softer and more flexible, which means it's more comfortable out of the box. I've spoken to a lot of boot makers who prefer old-fashioned veg tan leather because they prefer the way it ages and they like its heritage, but they can't sell veg tan boots because people return them at a much higher rate. Yes, if you get a pair, they'll eventually soften and get comfortable, but it's not great business to sell veg tan boots, because most people don't care about that kind of stuff, the heritage and the tradition of it, and they don't want to wait for their boots to get more comfortable. They'll just return it because they're uncomfortable. So in that way, it tends to save boot makers money and reduce waste when they opt for more chrome tan leather boots. Because it's softer and more flexible, it's also a lot easier to work with. I made veg tan leather boots by hand in Guatemala, and during the lasting process, which involves like stretching the leather over the boot mold, it tears a lot more easily because veg tan leather is more brittle. Now, veg tan is more durable and tough. Like, it's less soft and flexible because it's tougher and more durable, and it'll tend to last longer. But it's also a lot harder to make boots out of, and it can cause more waste and ruin product for companies as a result. It's also easier to dye. I don't think you'll ever find a white veg tan leather because it just refuses to be dyed that much. Chrome tanning has an infinitely wider range of colors you can make from it, which means more boots and shoes can be made and sold, if you want to consider that a good thing. If you take it from the angle that more shoes being made and being sold means more jobs are being created, that's another reason, if you want, to say that chrome tanning is a good thing for the industry. So those are my reasons why chrome tanning can be better than veg tanning, depending on your own perspective, of course. Again, I'm not going to deny that veg tanning is tougher, it makes for longer lasting leather, and it's nice and traditional, but chrome tanning really gets a very bad rap. If you want to be certain that your chrome tan leather is the environmentally friendly kind, you can buy American, or another really good idea is to look for a certification from the Leather Working Group. who rate tanneries for that kind of thing. I should have asked them to sponsor this video actually, this would have been a really good ad for them, but I don't think they do that kind of thing. Anyway, that's my video about the underrated benefits of chrome tanned leather. I still adore vegetable tanned leather, especially on bags, because comfort's not an issue there. And I fully acknowledge again that it's more durable. I just think we need to appreciate chrome tanned leather for all the upsides it has for manufacturers, the environment, and for the consumers.